Hello and welcome to Christian Networking Entrepreneurs, also known as CNE. I am your host, Prophetess SHALONDA Johnson, and as always, we are so excited to have you here. Before we go any further, we're going to ask you to share, tag someone this information that we're going to give today, and our guest is absolutely amazing, and you don't want anyone to miss it. CNE is a platform created by Prophetess Teresa McCurry, and what this platform does is it showcases emerging business owners, community leaders, and they have the opportunity to tell their testimony and strategies with our viewing audience. CNE is also an outreach ministry for New Beginnings Ministry, where Apostle Gregory McCurry and Prophetess Teresa McCurry are the overseers of that ministry. If you are interested in being on CNE, and I know you want to come on and share with us your testimony about your business, I can give you some information. The phone number to call is 216-916-9270. I'll say it again a little slower. 216-916-9270, extension 4. Extension 4 if you're interested in coming on and being a guest of CNE. But as always, we have an amazing guest today. Our guest is Miss Ashely Wynn with Busy Boss Bakery. Yeah. Busy Boss Bakery. So thank you for being our guest and welcome on the show.
Having me. Thank you for having me.
All right. First of all, let's start off with the name, Busy Boss Bakery. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So before we really get into the meat and potatoes, tell us a little bit about who you are, your background, your education. Just kind of bring us up to speed.
So it's so funny whenever people say, tell us who you are. It's just like, oh my God. I mean, that's such a good question. But I guess I'll start off with, I'm a mother of 5. I have 3 girls, 2 boys, 2 which are twins. I can start sharing my testimony. I was a teen mom. I had my first daughter when I was 17 years old. I graduated high school. I went on to take some classes in college, but that just didn't pan out for me as well as I wanted it to, just because I just didn't know what it was I really wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I went to school in New York, Poughkeepsie, New York, and then I traveled back home, and I still was doing some working around. And then after I had my son, the youngest one, God showed me that this was my passion. Baking was my passion, and I just went full into it, and I've been doing it ever since.
Oh my goodness! So you said you did a few other things, kind of here and there. Was it bakery, or was it something totally different?
Completely different. It
was
completely
always
different. Like, I like when I think about high school, and I used to be so jealous of people because they knew what they wanted to do. Mm-hmm. They had a plan for themselves, and I was just existing. I was just literally going through the halls like, hey, I'm here, but I never knew what I wanted to do. I knew it was going to be major. I knew it was going to be big. I did not know what it was going to be, and I didn't know the route. So I had my first niece. She had a special needs, and I loved her so much, and I cared for her. So I thought, well, maybe I should do home health care. That's something that I can do. It's easy. It comes natural. But then... And I began to work in that field when I was in New York, but then going to school for it to get an actual degree, it was boring. It was just like, it became a job, and I was like in search of something that was not a job. And then after that, I tried, I'm like, okay, well, at that point, I had 3 children. So I'm like, hey, let me do early childhood education. I can do that. I got kids, this is easy. I can teach somebody's child to know their ABCs, and no, it was not something that I was passionate about. So now I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Because I have no idea. When I was younger, I would have these shows to myself, my imaginary shows where I'm baking, I'm preparing. I said I would be on the Food Network channel, and I would prepare these meals, but I never wanted to be a cook. But I never thought about baking. It just was, I knew I was good at it. It was something that I could do, but I just didn't think of it as a career. And I want to say it was around the time I got pregnant with my last son, Miles. And we went for the 20-week checkup to find out if we having a boy or a girl, because we need a tiebreaker, all right? We got 3 girls. We need this boy, all right? We need this boy to come through. And when I went to the doctors and they said, okay, congratulations, you're having a boy. And it was like, yes. So I go to get off the table and she's like, wait, something else. Something's not right. Baby is not moving the way baby's supposed to move. And I'm sitting there, and now this is baby number 5. I ain't never heard this before. Now, I know you're not about to tell me I'm having another set of twins. I know you're not about to say that. If that's what you're about to say, save it, lady. I'm leaving. Okay, that's not about to happen. And she said, no. She said, let me call my head doctor in so he can look at the ultrasound. And so now I'm filled with all of this worries. I don't know, this is, I see my baby, I feel him moving. So what could this be? And so she comes in the room and she says, she looks at the ultrasound and she says, yeah, well, the doctor confirmed that it looks like your son is going to be born with a rare condition called arthrogryposis multiplex congenita. I had to study to be able to say it like that. But when she said it, just the word alone was scary. Yeah. What do you mean? I can't even pronounce, hold on, back up, rewind. What are you saying? And so she said that in his case, or in the case of when children are diagnosed with arthrogryposis multiplex congenita, it's a very slim chance that they will have any normalcy in life. That he probably will never walk. He could be affected developmentally. We don't know. So if you want to abort, now is the time to abort this child right now. Whoa. And so I go home, I have that conversation with my husband, and I say, I'm crying, and I'm just like, is it something that I did? Is it something that I, that's what you think of. You worry about that. And so I go to Google, and I'm looking up, what is this? And I'm seeing all the worst case scenarios ever. Worst case scenarios. And so finally, I'm praying and I'm asking God, and he says, you're going to keep your baby. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give my son a chance. I don't believe what the doctors are saying. I don't think God put this baby here for no reason. I'm going to give him a chance. And so we go on with the pregnancy. But while I'm going through it, I'm like, God, I need something to be able to be home to give him the best. Because they told me that my son is not going to be able to walk. He's not going to be able to do this and this and this. So I'm like, God, what am I supposed to do? At the time, I was working for Chase. I was a bank teller. And, that was consistent for me. It was consistent. I had something that I knew every 2 weeks I was going to hit my account. I can take care of my kids. I can take care of my bills. We were good, as far as that. And so he gave me this vision that I was going to be leaving my job, but he never told me when or what for. Yeah. So moving forward, we're going along in the pregnancy, and my daughter, she's having a birthday come up. Now, at the time, I had on the side, my hobby was event planning. So I was doing events. I was doing decorations and balloons and table decor and stuff like that for events, but it was nothing consistent for me to say I can leave my job to be able to be my son's caretaker full time. So she comes to me, she says, Mom, my birthday's coming up, and I want a nice cake. And I said, okay, that's fine. So she sends me a picture of this cake, and it's this really extravagant unicorn cake. And I looked at the cake, and I said, you're crazy. I said, first off, I'm not making that cake, and I'm not paying for it to get made. And she looked at me with this, I can't even express the look on her face. And she said, Mommy, but I believe in you. She said, Mommy, I know you can do it. And I went to Walmart, I went to Target, I went to Michael's, I went and bought all of the supplies I needed to make this cake, and I stayed up all night, and I watched the YouTube videos, and I studied it, and I learned how to sculpt, and I made this girl this cake. And I've been baking ever since. I never knew that I was passionate about baking. Yes. I never knew I loved it, but that's when I found what I was passionate about, and I ran with it. I started taking pictures, and I started posting, and they were some pretty ugly things that I created, but I was like, I wasn't stopping. I was going because I had got bit, and I'm like, I got to see where this is going to take me. I never knew that this would propel me into where it has. I have my own business now. I have a brick and mortar, and it was just something that was kind of like, oh, I'm gonna just do it on the side. No, it carried me on through. And it's going to continue to carry me on through. So I never knew that that's what it was going to be, but I'm so excited that I followed, what God gave me.
So it took this unforeseen situation with your son.
Yeah.
To kind of say, okay, something has to change.
Something has to
And I think it's just so amazing because there is nothing like, people can say they believe in you all day long.
Yeah.
But when your kids is like, look, you got this.
You got
it does something completely different to us. And I think it's so funny because they watch us every day.
Yeah.
And they really see how we're handling business. Sometimes we're moving so fast that we just handling business. We're doing what we do.
Right.
And they're looking at us in amazement. Like, look, I know she can do that. Yeah. I had a similar conversation with my daughter, and we started a business, and she was so encouraging.
Yeah.
And it was just like, forget everybody else.
Right.
My 18-year-old said I can do it. That's all I need.
I can do it. She is, when I said that we were going to go ahead and move forward with this, I said, Naya, you're going to be my manager. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because any business decisions I make, I go to her first. I say, okay, look, this is something that we just got. What do you think about it? She'll say, no. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, Ma, you about to kill it. So she is my encourager. She is somebody that she pushes me, and I'm so grateful for her. I really am, because it was something so simple. But when she said, Mommy, you can do it, I believe in you, it put me back in my childlike mind. Like, I said I could do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's something that I wanted to be fearless. I didn't want anything to make me afraid. So this is my opportunity. I'm taking it. And I'm about to do the best. And so that's what it was.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's that childlike faith. I think sometimes we become adults and we get into the world.
Yeah.
And then because of ups and downs and no's, sometimes our faith is shaken. But that childlike faith is like anything could happen.
I got a good feeling, and you like, okay, well, we're going to go with the feeling.
So this happened before Miles was born.
This happened before Miles was born. So that was like the birth of it. And so once he was born, Miles was here. We had, he had his procedures. At the time they didn't know if he was affected developmentally, but he was physically affected. He was affected in his uppers and in his lowers, meaning his shoulders, his arms, his wrists were contracted inward. At his feet, he had club feet. And so it just coming out, I was just like, God, okay, you said I can do it. Okay, God, So I bring him home, and we're doing all of the procedures. And thankfully, my job was so understanding. They were definitely supportive. So it really hurt me when it came time for me to leave. Yeah. And I was just sharing this with someone yesterday. I said, I can remember sitting in the parking lot. Now, this is at the beginning of COVID now. This was 2020, so COVID really hit in March. So I want to say I left in June, July. This is when people are, not sure if they're coming back to work. It's hard to get people to stay. And I never left a job like that. I never did. I always believe in you leave a job the right way. And I remember pulling up to the job, and I'm sitting in the parking lot, and I'm sitting in the car, and I'm crying because God telling me no. No. And I'm like, no. So I'm literally sitting there trying to say, God, just let me finish this out. He said, when I say no, it's no. You're supposed to give this woman your keys, go get that business, and move forward. I'm like, but it don't make sense. Well, that's how you know that you are in the right place, or you're supposed to be, because it's not supposed to make sense. Yeah. That's when faith takes over, and I was sitting there trying to make sense of, like, God, I don't got the money for this. I can't do this. And what's going to happen? No. So I called my manager, and I'm crying. I said, I know this is the worst time, and I'm so sorry, but God told me I'm not supposed to come back. And so I didn't go back, and I went and I paid my deposit and everything for.
Now wait. When is this? Like, how long ago are we talking about?
So we're talking about COVID. This is 2020.
2020.
This is 2020 when everybody is actually. That's the last thing you want to do is quit a job and try to go into a business when places are shutting down. And this was you talking about. My job was consistent. I'm leaving my consistent job. I got 5 kids at home. Not to mention I'm going through a whole separation situation. Okay? Yeah. So all of the things are stacked up to me and say, Ashely, this is a bad idea. But God is saying now. Wow.
Yes.
I had no idea what was ahead of me, but I listened and I jumped and,
Well, let me ask you a question. How long between I think your oldest daughter's birthday party and this big leap of faith where you're leaving your stability?
Right.
How long in between?
So, this is, so Miles was born 2017. This was when Anaya came to me with no, actually, 2017 he was born. So Miles was actually born when Anaya came to me and said, "Ma, I want you to make the cake." So her birthday was in April. So we're now going from April 2018 until now. It's 2000 and I started baking. This is what built up my courage to quit.
Okay.
Because at that time I was baking from 2018. I'm doing little side jobs. I have created this Instagram. It's important, y'all. Build up your Instagram. Everything. Instagram, social media is everything. I literally started my bakery on Instagram. I was just taking pictures of everything I had. And so from there, people will start ordering and placing orders and stuff. So now I'm getting my clientele was building up. This is from 2018. I got the whole 2018, 2019. Now I'm getting orders. I'm thinking I don't think I can keep up. This is, it's a lot coming through. And so when 2020 comes, I'm getting this idea maybe I should go. I was walking down Larchmere and me and my sister were exercising and I looked inside of this building that said, for rent, and I looked in it, and when I looked in the window, I saw what my bakery looks like now. I didn't see the white walls. I didn't see the green chalkboard. I saw my pink glitter wall. I saw the chairs. I saw the customers smiling.
Pink glitter wall. That's my type of girl.
It was all of that. And so I'm like, this is my bakery.
Yeah.
And that's all I saw. I just had the vision. And I knew, and so when it came time for, once I'm like, okay, God, what am I supposed to do? Is I'm waiting for my bank account to make sense.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
My bank account never made sense. It still don't make sense. It still don't make sense. But he told me to go. He told me to do it. And that's what I did. And everything else fell into place.
So you turned in your keys at Chase.
At Chase.
And then from that point on, how long? Because we're kind of smack dab going into pandemic.
So this is the pandemic now. Okay. What are you thinking?
Because March pandemic started in June. You opened it. Okay.
So June, I didn't open it though. This is the thing. I didn't open it. I got my keys to the facility. We wouldn't open for a whole nother year because he told me to go, and I went. I got the keys. Now I'm like, okay, cool. We in here. I got my mixer. I'm bringing it from home. I done brought it into the spot. I said, okay, cool. I can bring this oven. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into because none of what I thought was going to happen happened. Okay. Now I'm getting into, okay, well, now there's, you got zoning laws. You got, okay, these are the things you got to do a build out and you got to meet these regulations. And did you get an architect? And I'm like, a what? A who? A how? A when? A what? What do you mean? I literally just gave what do I got to do now? Okay, God. All right. You told me to move, and I moved, and now I got to do all of this stuff. And where's this money coming from?
So we had another guest on maybe a few months ago, and she talked about knowing about the zoning and permits and things, especially when you're going in certain areas. So your bakery is in Larchmere, which is Shaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and they are very serious about that. And even coming into the community, you want to be the other merchants need to know what's coming into the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. So I'm just I'm over this is too much. I didn't expect for all of this. I didn't even think it through. Yeah. And so, my advice seriously would be, to know what you're getting yourself into, be prepared because in hindsight, I could have failed because I wasn't prepared.
Right.
But I thank God that he had me even in the midst of all of that. And that was still a part of his plan because I'm right here sitting right now telling you the testimony that God did. I walked into that building, there was nothing. There were no appliances, no furniture. And I remember calling down to the Urban League, and I had a relationship with one of the ladies down there, and I'm calling her, and I'm like, I got the keys, I got the business, I signed the lease, and now I don't have any money, and I need to do this. And I'm crying, and she says, stop crying. Call this man. He's an architect. He should be able to help you. Mm-hmm. So I called the architect. I called the guy, and I'm explaining my situation. And he says, well, when can you get there? When can you get up there? And I said, I can get there now. So he says, okay, I'm going to meet you now. So he goes, and he meets me. And he's walking around. And he's doing all these estimates. I didn't already looked up another architect. And architect, you say the word architect, you're talking about thousands of dollars.
Very expensive.
And all I could think about is I quit my job. I got to bring in some more money. You know what I mean? I got to make some money. So we got to open up. I'm thinking we're opening up this year. This is now the 2020, I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. And no, it didn't happen, but God was still moving. He was still moving, and that goes with the whole trusting. You gotta trust God. You gotta trust God past your comfortableness, past that comfortable level. You have to, because faith and trust in God, it literally crushes what comfortable means.
Oh, absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? You can't sit there and say, God, I trust you. God, I have faith, but then you want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Comfortability is literally...
It goes out the window when faith steps in, and I was stretched. I'm like, Lord, I don't know how this is going to happen. So when the guy comes in, he's looking around, and I said, so how much is it going to cost? And he says, well, I'm already started. You pay me as you can. Mm-hmm. Okay, God. All right, God. But first he comes and he says, give me your hands. And I'm like, right, hold on now, sir. I know I'm crying and vulnerable, but listen now. He says, give me your hand. So he takes my hands and he begins to pray with me. He says, God, you've already worked it out. Whatever this young lady is in need of, I never met this man before. Whatever this young lady is in need of, you already worked it out. So we're just going to say thank you, God, in advance. So then he calls me the next day and he says, I got a surprise for you. I need you to come up to the shop. Now after he left, and he prayed with me. He said he gonna get started. He's gonna get up the drawings, the floor plans. I got on that floor, and I never cried out to God like I did that day. I mean, I cried. I said, God, you told me this is what I was supposed to do. God, I need you to send me a sign. I need you to send me a sign, God. I need help. I said, I need somebody to come in my life that's not going to take advantage of me, because I don't know what I'm doing. I need someone, God, that you have sent. So the next day, the architect guy calls and he says, I got a surprise with you. I need you to come meet me tomorrow at 5. I said, okay, all right. So I meet him tomorrow at 5. I'm sitting there. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, all right, God, how you about to do this? My business partner walks through the door. Somebody that I had prayed for that I didn't know was coming through the door. Mm-hmm. He sent this man to be a blessing into my life. He said, listen, we have this foundation where we help businesses get, startup costs. He said, so either you can pay for the labor and we'll cover the cost for the material. No, he said you can pay for the materials and we'll cover labor, or you can give us a percentage of your business, a small percentage for this amount of money. And I'm sitting here like, God, well, listen here, sir.
So kind of like the Shark Tank kind of.
Yeah, kind of like that. I didn't know what I was getting, but I'm like, listen here, sir, I ain't got nothing, so I can't pay for no materials. I'm going to have to go with this percentage. But my spirit was like, I didn't feel any kind of way. I didn't feel worried or stressed out or anything like that. I just felt like that was an answer to the prayer. Okay,
so you didn't feel like that, like I'm forced into this decision.
No,
you didn't. Okay,
I felt like
because that's a very common feeling when your back is against the wall and you've actually, you've given everything. You've given your sweat, you give your tears, and all your money.
I'm like, come on, whatever you about to do.
Yeah.
But when he walked in and he came, and I had such a peace. And I said, however you're going to work this out. Because I'm a firm believer, God, if it's not for me, don't even let that person come through the door. Don't even let it, I believe that much that if it's not for me, it won't even happen. It won't come into fruition. So we end up moving forward with the partnership, and a year later, the business opened, and we did everything that I was worried about. I'm like, God, I'm going to do this. God, I'm going to pay for this. God made a way. God provided. Yeah. So it was just, it was for me, it's it's faith. It's trusting God. I think that's the only thing I have taken away from when you trust God and you say and you give God your yes and you put him forward. First and foremost, everything else will fall into place, you know. But he's trying to do. I remember, I want to say it was Apostle McCurry. He said, God's trying to do a God did it testimony. He wants a God did it testimony, and this is a God did it testimony. It wasn't nothing that Ashely did. I couldn't even think this far. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So, how long have you actually been in business now?
So,
maybe 2.
So the business, the location has been open. It'll be a year. July 3rd, 2022. So coming up on a year. But we've been an LLC since, I want to say 2019. So it's been 2 years, 3 years, 2 years that we've been in business.
So if you had your business philosophy, what would you say your business philosophy? What is that thing that you've kind of, or a statement you've coined for your business?
Find what you're passionate about.
Yes.
And let it take you the rest of the way. I don't knock anyone that has gone to college. I wish I tried it, and I wanted it to work for me, but that wasn't my thing. But it wouldn't have worked anyway because I didn't know what I was passionate about. Mm-hmm. You know, I was literally just grabbing straws. I was literally just trying to find something that would work for me. But the moment I found what I was passionate about, I was doing it. I was up to 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, still having to go to the bank and work and stuff. But it was something that I love to do. I love doing it. And so I would just say, find what you're passionate about. Yeah. And once you find what you're passionate about, it's not a job. You know, you don't mind studying it, you know, and finding more information on it.
And so, you know, you talked about college, and typically, you know, what we expect is, you know, you go to high school, then you kind of go off to college, and, you know, you find your $1 million, well, not $1 million, because you don't get a $1 million job.
Right.
You find your job that makes life comfortable. But what we find out is that everyone is not, I don't even want to use the word college material. That's just not their area that they're successful in. Right. They have another vision. They have something totally different. Right. And I talk about that because I just had a daughter graduate, and my oldest went off to college, and just exactly how I wanted it done. Right. But I had another one, and she was like, this is not me. And I'm like, okay. Right. Okay. But she started, and she found something, like you said, that she loved to do. And she was so passionate about it. And literally she started a business. She's doing very, very well. And I think sometimes we underestimate that thing that makes us happy. Yeah. Because I believe that God gives us the desires of our heart. Yeah. And it is his will for us to enjoy life. It is his will for us to be happy with life. It is not his will for us to kind of just be existing, as you said before. And that thing that makes you happy, that thing that you're good at, that thing that God has gifted you to do, can actually be a financial resource for you. Yeah. If you put the work or you put the time into it. So I love that. And we're seeing and it's crazy because I don't know if you remember, maybe about a couple of years ago, the Food Network started to like really boom with all these different people that would come on. But they had this one show called, I think, Cupcake Wars. Yeah. And when Cupcake Wars came out, it's like every cupcake, every business, everything. And it's amazing because you're about to go into bakery. You're about to go into that. But then God begins to highlight your business on national TV. Yeah. So now the world is ready for the bakery. The world is ready for it.
They ready. They are expecting. And it's just kind of like, I didn't even know, you know, like that. This was the vein that I was getting ready to go into. But now, like you said, they're expecting it. They want it. They are hungry for it. So what better time than now to get into something that's so, you know, awesome. So that is very, very true. That it is, it's my time. It was creating before I was even in place.
Yes. So now you're in business. Like I said, you're in Shaker of Larchmere, and you're in a very nice area.
It's a nice area, and I didn't know that it was. I mean, I knew that it was nice, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into before I got there. So now that I'm there, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is the best place.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit. If you could give our viewers some advice and some things that you would have done differently in hindsight. We know that all things work together for the good, but in hindsight, some things like you said you didn't know what you were getting into.
Right.
So if you could talk to Ashely in 2019,
Right.
what would you tell Ashely?
Ooh, girl. I would tell her, prepare yourself. You need to know about the business side. When I got into it, I knew about baking. I knew that's something that I was doing. I loved it, but I had no idea about the business side. Yeah. The P&Ls and how much something should cost, the cost margin and how much I'm going to pay my employees, or how much I got to pay my overhead, and I got to get insurance, business insurance, and you got to get insurance for yourself, and you want to make sure that you have how to do an Excel sheet. How to to create your inventory, and who do you want to shop with, and who do you want to get your supplies from. It was so much that once I got into it, because once I got it, it was like, okay, you have to figure out when are we going to open. So now, okay, when are we going to open? I'm stressing about that. We need the equipment. We need this. We need that. But now that I'm open, okay, how much are you bringing in? How much do you need to make sure that you're making to be able to pay your overhead? And you got to be able to pay your employees. You got to be able to pay this. And how much are you trying to save them up? We still got to get this. And what happens when the equipment breaks down? Oh my God. So make sure that you are preparing. You are dotting all of those I's and crossing those T's. Another thing, like we were discussing before, marketing is everything. Marketing is everything. We are living in a social media time. Everything is on social media. You have to get, your presence out there on social media, because it's not so much that people are reading the magazines or reading the newspapers like they used to. People are looking, okay, is this on my phone? Can I access this right now on my smartphone, on my tablet? What flyers do they have? What promotions, do they have sales? So once we opened, it was like, okay, well, are you available here? What platform are you on? Yeah. Now there's TikTok. Now there's YouTube. So making yourself very much aware of your craft. Perfect your craft in every aspect of that. Know what you're getting yourself into. Know about your business. Know what is it that is gonna help you stand apart. Why should I choose you over everybody else that's been doing it for years? You know what I mean? Like, I got into this, and I'm like, there's bakers that are better than me, they have more years under their belt, but for some reason people want to come to Busy Boss Bakery. Yeah. So what is that thing about your business that makes people say, okay, I know they my family trusts them, or I've been going to them for years, but this person is where I want to go. What stands you apart? So you talked about that social media aspect. That is absolutely, we talked about it a little bit early before we came on. It is absolutely huge in the day and age that we're in. Yes. That you have to be visible. And back in the day, visibility looked like a phone book. Yeah. It looked like maybe, a flyer, but visibility looks different. And like you said, as far as going into the business, it's one thing to know the bakery end, but the business end is so essential different. Because I tell people all the time, and we've talked about this a lot, viewers, that there is a difference between you can have money coming in and you not be really making money. No. I know about that. And that's because I did not understand the business side of it. I was just putting prices on stuff, but I'm not, at the end of the day, I'm like, well, shoot, this container costs. Yes, this absolutely. Fork is, a package of forks or coffee cups, like, it adds up. But if you didn't take the time to put all of those numbers together, and it does take time, like, you can't avoid that. And I think I was trying to avoid, like, I don't need to do that. I don't need to. You have to take time to make sure that you know what you're bringing in, what you're putting out, because if you don't, you will not see a profit. And it'll look good, like, oh, well, for the year you made such and such and such, but you're actually in the red. Absolutely. You're in the red. Absolutely. I found out that there is some different software that they have out now where you can actually kind of put your information in. Like, if I buy
300 forks and, kind of, it gives you what the price should be.
Right.
And we're discussing these things because it does make a difference.
Right.
It does make a difference. And you're saying, like, now you're seeing how all of those play a factor into a successful, healthy business.
Yes.
A successful, healthy business.
Yes.
So you would say to yourself, kind of research the business end of things.
Yeah. I would say slow down.
Slow down. Yeah.
Slow down, because it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But when it gets here, if you're not prepared, it could fall through. You know what I mean? If you don't slow down and put first things first, that's almost kind of like don't put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
That's saying, like, you have to make sure that you are get a what is it, a outline. Making sure that you have hit all of those important things. If it's a question that you can't answer, then that's something that you have to work on. And you can't and my thing is, I don't know how to delegate. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm finding out about myself. I'm not a good delegator, so I'm asking God to help me with that.
So you just want to do it all?
I want to do it all because I can't explain what I want done, but I know what I want done. Yeah. I know how it needs to be done. But to go to that, you can't give somebody a job if you don't know how to do it. How do you know if it's being done right? Mm-hmm. How do you know if they're, not cheating you or they're missing something? So you have to understand the business part before you can say, okay, well, I'm going to just hire somebody to do it. If you don't understand it, you're really kind of shooting yourself in the foot, Mm-hmm. So definitely teach yourself about the business, about your business and how you want it to be ran.
And I love that. Let's segue into your business doesn't have to look like anybody else's business.
Right.
So what one bakery does or what one company does, you can do something completely, totally different.
Exactly.
But like you said, understanding the vision is one thing to have the vision, but another thing to understand the vision.
Yes.
And once you understand vision, you can execute vision.
You can execute it, yeah. And another thing I wanted to say about just advice to myself and to also people that are going into entrepreneurship is knowing what the end game is.
Oh,
because once you know what the end game is, when those tough times come, when those trials come, when those hardships come, you'll know why you're holding on.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You'll say, okay, I know this is coming, but in a couple seconds it's gonna stop, because I know what I'm headed towards.
Yeah.
When you don't know when you don't know the end game, you don't know what your purpose is. When those hardships come, you'll drop it to the side. Okay, I'm gonna go into this. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm gonna just go because
your reason why.
You don't know. You have to know your reason why. Why am I sacrificing? Why am I withstanding all of this stuff? If you know it, that won't even be a question. You just keep going. You just keep pursuing. You just keep pushing. So know why you're doing it. Know your why. And I like to say, my why is because Busy Boss Bakery is going to be a household name.
Got it.
It's going to be a household name. And that's what I tell myself. I put it, Busy Boss Bakery will be a household name. So whatever I'm going through right now, whatever I need to learn, or and it might seem stupid. Why do you need to know how much it costs to ship stuff? Because Busy Boss Bakery is going to be a household name.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you gotta get that in your mind, and once you get your why, then everything else it won't even matter.
It'll carry you through the rough seasons.
It'll be what holds you on. It'll be it'll keep you.
And I love what you talked about the why. Because there are seasons in businesses, just like in life, where there may be a season that is a little slower than the other season.
Right.
And being able to forecast, okay, I see this coming, or I know this season is not the most productive season.
Right.
But then I know around holiday time, I need to be prepared for being able to forecast what's going on.
Yeah.
And that is so important in a visionary with a business and being able to see where do I want to grow?
Right.
Is my end game just staying here forever? In your case, your end game is being a household name.
Yeah.
Which means that it's not just a location.
No.
So we're talking about shipping. We're talking about warehouse. We're talking about all of these different things.
Yeah.
But understanding where your end game is at, it is very hard to bring someone in your company and have them see your vision when you don't have one.
You don't have one. And you're like, but I just want you. And it's just like, I'm willing to rock with you, but what are we doing here?
What are we doing? Yeah.
What are we doing here? Because that's also their time. That's also, you know what I mean? When you got somebody that's in your space, you taking a lot of their energy But it won't matter to them if they know why they're giving it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can give them that vision. This is what we're doing this for. This is why, we're going to be out here. I'm going to need you can't get paid this week. You know what I mean? But if you hang on in there, I promise you, this is what's going to happen down the line. So when somebody and you have to be transparent in business. You have to be transparent. You have to be. Because when you can be transparent, God will send you those people that are for you and they can help you build.
So let's talk about that, because oftentimes we've talked about entrepreneurship, but your entrepreneurship is a little bit different. You can't do this on your own. You need employees, because you can't open the shop up every day by yourself and take care of your family, because the whole point of being an entrepreneur was
to be with my family.
Exactly. But understanding, even with that, for those first few years, it might seem like you're working probably more hours than you would at a traditional location. So now you're opening up this business. You have this business. You have this vision. But now you need employees. And I put a post not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, about what it is to be a entrepreneur, but to have a staff. Now, this it's almost like in your mindset, this has to work.
It gotta work,
because people are depending on you. You talked about I got a couple of people that work in my company, and they just ride or die. They understand the vision. They understand the direction. They don't mind giving a little bit. They don't mind doing what they have to do to make it work. But on the same token, as an employer, you want to be good to those that's good to you.
You have to be.
That's so let's talk about that having employees and what that looks like in a business.
So for me, I'm very grateful, because I would like to call my bakery a family-ran business, because you come into Busy Boss Bakery, you're going to be greeted by my mother. Welcome to Busy Boss Bakery. My name is Gail. That is her tag. Like, that's what she says when you walk in. And then you have my Aunt Deborah, and then you have Anaya, and so we are the face of Busy Boss Bakery. And I need those on my core. There's days where I'm like, I come in there and I don't even speak. Like, it's not like I'm mad, but I'm just like, I'm so like, listen, today's one of them days. You got that. Make sure you go ahead and make that coffee. You got to go get them dishes, sweep that floor. And I'm not, when I walk in there, I am not mom. I'm not niece. I'm not daughter. Hey, that's the boss.
Yeah.
And I know she got something on her mind. She thinking about something. So let's make sure we are in place so we can take the heavy off of her. Whatever it is that can make it easier for her. And they connect with me. There's a lot of times they say, you know what, we're going to go in a little bit earlier today. We're going to take care of this. So that way when you get in, you can go ahead and smooth sail. So it's so important to have that. And I haven't been able to bring on anyone else, because I need them to understand the vision. I need them to be able to pick that up.
They're the pillars right now.
Yeah, they are the pillars. And so they, and when I know that when God sends someone, it's not even going to be a issue, like a struggle. It'll just blend in. They'll just mesh with everybody else in the atmosphere. Because also, people come in there, not just, my desserts are delicious, don't get me wrong, but it's the atmosphere that comes with it. It's that presence that people feel, and it's just something about here that we love. I need someone to come a part of it, to add to that, not to take away from the experience. You get what I'm saying? So when trying to hire people, it's okay. I need people. I need the hands, but I'm not just going to bring anybody into. There's an atmosphere in here that you got to be able to add to. And if you can't add to that, I don't need somebody at the register. Hey, what you want that? Okay, you want, all right, that's fine. Hey, how are you? How you doing today? That's the type of energy I need. It has to fit, because we have a culture in there. Yeah. You got to be able to fit it. So you can't just hire anybody. So if that means I got to sacrifice, I got to stay here a little bit longer. I can't do that today because I don't have anybody else. I'm waiting until I know that person that's perfect for that position. It will come through and be able to, pick up and take off.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about, because we got about 15 minutes left. Okay, we talked about, you have let's say a young entrepreneur.
Right.
And they have this vision, this goal. What would you say to them? Give them some encouraging words about, we talked about understanding your area, understanding the business part of it, but and understanding your highs and your lows. But what any other information or encouraging words you would give a young entrepreneur? Because what we are seeing is that entrepreneurs are younger and younger and younger now. Mm-hmm. And one thing about the millennials, people can say what they want to say about the millennials, and they do have their little hang-ups.
Yeah.
But I think they're
fearless.
They are absolutely. I learn from them all the time, my daughters, because they feel like there's nothing that they can't do.
Yeah. Yeah.
They broke the mold of the traditional having to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and punch in a clock, and hopefully their retirement will be there. Right. And so they have broken that mold altogether. They have shown us a new way to do business and a new way to be self-sufficient.
Right.
So I think we kind of talked about that even with the Instagram and things of that nature. So we see such a big shift right now. So what's some encouraging words we would give to a young entrepreneur? Then we're going to talk about these desserts.
So for someone that's just getting out there, getting started, I would say trust yourself. Trust yourself. Your vision is your vision. You can't expect to, and also know what to keep to yourself. Because there's a lot of people that because they can't dream the way you dream is stupid.
Yeah. So
you have to know what to keep to yourself, and you stay focused. Your vision is your vision. You know, and I would say stay true to it. You know, give it all you have. The worst thing that can happen is it doesn't happen, or it doesn't play out. But it's still a part of that journey, because now you know what didn't work.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a learning.
It's a learning. It's all a part of it. You know, my mom says is on the job training. You won't know if it works or not if you don't actually put your foot to it.
Yeah.
You know, so stay focused. You know, your vision is your vision. Don't let anyone else come in and try to say, well, no, maybe you should do this. No, maybe you should do. You know what you see. You know,
I think one thing I love that, and I think I would add to that, and it's one thing that I have just been really kind of meditating on for the last couple of months, is don't shrink yourself for anyone.
Oof, so you can say that again.
Don't shrink for anyone, or let anyone shrink you.
No. Be bold. Be bold. You know what I mean? Be daring. You know, continue to break the mold. Mm-hmm. You know, and I for me, and even for this is a personal thing that, you know, you said, don't shrink yourself, because I would always kind of like, being pretty was just enough. You know, that was it. You know, so I didn't want to talk and show my brains, because I didn't want to outshine anybody else. I didn't want to make anybody else feel inferior. But no, I'm not shrinking myself for nobody else. I'm about to step up in this room and say what I need to say, because this is what I believe. This is what's about to happen. This is what it is, you know? So definitely, and don't shrink yourself.
Okay, so I love that, because that's confidence. Mm-hmm. That is confidence, where you're not comparing yourself to anyone. You don't think you're better than anyone, but you understand you bring something to the table. You
understand, and and you're not in competition with nobody.
Absolutely.
But yourself, who you were yesterday. That's who you're in competition with. Yeah. And honestly, when you say that and you hold on to that in your heart, that's what people come to you for.
Absolutely.
That's what people are buying. That confidence. Oh, that girl got some Woo! Yeah. You see how that girl said. You talking about your product like, I know she might got what y'all think, but this over here, baby, I'm trying to tell you right now. And that's what sells. It's the confidence that sells. People want to follow somebody that's confident. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
It's oh wow, this is really good. I hope you guys are sharing, because we only got a few more minutes. So we got 10 more minutes. I tell you, I always go down to the wire. They get on me all the time. But so let's talk a little bit about some of your desserts.
Right.
Some of your desserts. So bestseller.
My bestseller, hands down, the peach cobbler pound cake.
Like, I've never heard of that, y'all.
The peach cobbler pound cake, I'm telling you, yes, it is as good as it sounds. I'm not lying. I stand behind my product, y'all. Okay. I stand by it. And the peach cobbler pound cake, we do it every Wednesdays. We have designated Wednesdays to We Cobbler Wednesdays. So we have done, we do a peach cobbler pound cake every Wednesday. We also do apple cobbler pound cake. We do lemon rum pound cake, which, oh my God, it is pound cake. It's just, you can't go wrong with pound cake. We also do cheesecake parfaits. We got your banana pudding cheesecake, which it doesn't stay in the case. The moment people walk by, they see it, okay, they're coming to get at least 5 or 6. Like, I can't keep it in the case because that's how fast it goes. We have, we do specialty cupcakes. I specialize in custom cakes. So anything you want your cake to look like, I can do it. And if I can't, then I'm going to send you to one of my good people that can. But for the most part, I'm going to definitely...
You can do it. You got it.
I'm going to definitely do what I can to make sure this cake comes to life. So, we do custom cakes. We do, right now, we rent the space out for custom events. So small events, if you want something very intimate. We do small birthday parties. We do cake and dates. So if you this is a nice twist to your date night with your spouse, with your significant other, come and decorate a cake with us. We will, sit you down, you decorate a cake with your significant other, and then right after we have dinner. And we also do cake classes. So if you want to learn from the busy boss how to decorate a cake, we do cake classes on Sundays. We do paint and sips every other Saturday. And one of the things that has been catching fire, we do open mic nights.
So I did see that, I believe, on your Instagram.
Yes.
On your Instagram.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yes. So we are just, so excited for you. I think I love the fact that oftentimes we have, financial people come on, but what you're doing is so out of the box.
Exactly. And that's what I love about it. It's
out of the box. And I think one thing that from this interview today, we really want to encourage people is that do what it is that God has given you to do. Yeah. Even if you don't see it, if you've never seen it done before. Because I'm a firm believer that there must be the first in everything.
In
something.
Right.
Why not it be you?
Right.
Because I think oftentimes we're thinking where it has to be somebody else, but why not me?
Right.
Why not me?
And exactly, for me, it was kind of like, okay, well, I have to sell this amount of cupcakes to make sure I make this. But no, when you stop worrying about the money, for me, I had to stop worrying about the money. And I had to start worrying about and thinking more on the connections. There's times where people will come in just to have a conversation. There's times where people will come in and just to want to pray or just to be in there. And I might not have made any money from that interaction, but guess what's going to happen? They're going to come back and they're going to send someone else, and they're going to send someone. Oh, this bakery is this, and they talk about this. Or when you go in, so when you stop so much worrying about the money and just throw yourself into whatever it is that you're passionate about, that money's going to come. It's going to come. Because if you stress about that money, you chasing that dollar, you're going to be overwhelmed because
all the time.
You know what I mean? You're not making those connections with people and networking. Networking is everything.
Yeah.
So, I stopped worrying about the money and just started worrying about, I got to make these connections. I want to make sure, sometimes open mic night, when we first started open mic night, it wasn't bringing in that many people to come and sit in, but slowly but surely, people started to come. People started to, they're telling people about it, and now they're coming to purchase. And that, guess what? When people come in, I want to purchase this cake. I got a big event. My boss got this. So it's like when you it just happens, organically. So. Yeah.
So tell us where you're located.
We are located 12732 Larchmere Boulevard. It is right between Fiddlehead Gallery and Our Favorite Things. And it is the best little thing. You're going to look for the sign that says Busy Boss Bakery.
Yes. So is there a phone number, or do you have a website? Or give them your Instagram.
So the Instagram is Busy Boss Bakery. On Facebook, it's Busy Boss Bakery. Our website is www.busybossbakery.com. And you can definitely contact us if you want to send me an email. It's busybossbakery@gmail.com. I am always on this phone here. You can reach me. You can text. You can email. You can DM. However, to get in contact.
And when is the open mic night?
Open mic night is every last Friday of the month. So I want to say that is,
let's look at this calendar,
June 24th, I want to say. It's from 8 to 10:30, and it's an awesome thing. The band with No Name performs live, and I promise you, I can't. I try to say I'm not gonna get on the mic. I always get on the mic
because I seen the video. I'm like, is she singing? So she's on the mic. So look. We have this location here. Cleveland has availed us an opportunity for a Busy Boss Bakery where you could come. You have your events, eat some good food, have some great fellowship, good atmosphere, and we have one of our own, our Christian believers that is actually just doing it. And just doing it the way that God has given her to do it. So we are so super excited about it. I got to get out there. And just sit and just have a conversation, sit and just enjoy myself. I told you guys that it was going to be an awesome interview today. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you.
It's such a pleasure.
So for all, it's summertime. So if you need your cake, if you need something special, reach out to Busy Boss Bakery. And that ends our interview on today. So as always, we thank you for tuning in. We will be back on next month. If you are interested again in being on the show, then this is the phone number again. It's 216-916-9270, extension 4. We will see you on next month. Remember, if you don't network, you don't work. We'll see you on next month. Have a great day.
Good.